America is not a racist country.
I'm very confident that we will get a guilty verdict. Very confident.
Ahmaud Arbery's mother hopeful for justice, as all parties rested their cases in the trial of 3 men charged with killing her son.
Yeah, he did not threaten me verbally, no, ma'am.
All right. Didn't brandish any weapons?
No, ma'am.
During cross-examination, prosecutors spending hours challenging Travis McMichael's insistence that he, his father Gregory, and neighbor William Bryan tried to detain Arbery until police could arrive because they suspected he was involved in a string of local robberies.
Didn't pull out any knife?
No, ma'am.
Never reached for anything, did he?
No.
He just ran.
Yes, he was just running.
McMichael testifying that at one point Arbery attacked Bryan's pickup truck and that he acted in self-defense, fearing he and his father would be next.
He was acting weird. He was acting funny when I was trying to talk to him prior. So I'm on alert.
So you're telling this jury that a man who has spent 5 minutes running away from you, you're now thinking is somehow going to want to continue to engage with you, someone with a shotgun, and your father, a man who's just said, stop or I'll head off, by trying to get in their truck?
That's what it shows, yes, ma'am.
Just as testimony was ending, hundreds converged on the courthouse, including black pastors. There, in response to the defense team's repeated attempts to limit the number of clergy Arbery's family could invite into the court, suggesting it could bias the jury. The defense ending its case with testimony from residents of the neighborhood where Arbery was killed, highlighting their concerns about crime.
Did there come a time when you yourself became the victim of a property crime?
Yes, I did.
Disappointing Arbery's mother, who wanted to hear from the other 2 defendants. All 3 defendants are charged with murder for allegedly acting together to imprison Arbery and cause his death. They all face the possibility of life in prison if convicted. Right?
Ron Allen for us this morning there in Georgia. Ron, thank you.
Introducing Venture X. Earn 10x miles on hotels and 5.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you can't count on nothing, you can count on the same people consistently telling you Black people are responsible for their own death. And it's always the people that feel like they should never get in trouble no matter what they do. Murder, rape, rob, lie, steal. They shouldn't be responsible for none of it. It's the same group of people that think they should be raptured. Raptured out of here. Woo! Let's get to this story. If they're not consistent about nothing else, they're consistent about this, ladies and gentlemen. They've been saying this since chattel slavery and have never stopped saying it. So this is HuffPost. November 19th, 2021, defense attorney argues Ahmaud Arbery was responsible for his own death. That's right. Because if you say things like that, then nobody's got to go to jail. You know, and isn't it amazing? If a Black man kills someone, he's always responsible. But if someone from the high IQ community kills someone, they are never responsible for that Black man's death. That Black man was responsible for the whole thing. Woo, this backwards country. No wonder why you are sinking fast. Ahmaud Arbery was ultimately responsible for his own death. A lawyer for one of the men charged with his murder argued in court Friday. They've been arguing this same thing, y'all, since chattel slavery. I kid you not. Go back and look at some of the old court cases, and you will see that consistent pattern. This is just crap they keep passing down from generation to generation. Just to say, you know, even if one of them die at your hands, you're never responsible. They killed themselves. And do you know, when I was doing my family tree, they would even say that about men that were lynched. If a man was lynched by a high IQ mob, that man did that to himself. They even said it in that instance too. Go figure, right? The explosive claim came as the defense rested its case, setting closing arguments for Monday in the high profile trial over a killing that sparked nationwide outrage last year. William Bryan is charged with felony murder for participating in the chase that led to Arbery being shot to death in February 2020 by Travis McMichael, who is also facing felony murder charges along with his father, Gregory McMichael. Now, there are some people that are upset that the other two did not have to go up on the stand, just Travis McMichael, and that's it. So there may actually be a verdict this coming week. Brian's lawyer, Kevin Go, attempted Friday to separate his client from the McMichaels in the criminal charges to be considered by the jury, likely sometime next week. In doing so, he at several points argued that not only was his client not responsible for Arbery's death, but the 25-year-old black man who was chased through a Georgia neighborhood bore the ultimate blame. Blame the black man, y'all. Blame the black man. Wow. Go said Arbery had a last chance to avoid Brian's truck. No, Brian and the McMichaels should have minded their own business. But y'all see a black man and you just can't help yourself. If everybody would have just minded their own business, no one would be dead and they wouldn't be in jail and Ahmaud would not be laying in a grave. But because you couldn't leave well enough alone, like most of you can't leave well enough alone, he's dead. But this attempt to, distance yourself from the blame is just downright laughable. And it's very historic, by the way. This is what we have seen from you forever now. You may consider whether Mr. Arbery had a last clear chance to avoid such danger and attribute it to the danger by his own conduct, which is bullshit. Go said, adding that Arbery should have run to avoid the truck, possibly by running into a neighbor's house. Well, he shouldn't have been chased down at all. Again, there was no reason for them to take the position that he stole something, and you see absolutely nothing in his hands. You see nothing on him at all. So that judgment that he stole something was completely unreasonable. All right, and that he was acting funny. Well, you looking like Elmer Fudd with a gun, that looks funny to people too. Okay. So they're saying he could have avoided it by running into a neighbor's house. Well, you accused him of burglary. So what would he look like running into a neighbor's house? You would say that was a crime too. He could have jumped into a pool, or climbed up the side of a tree. Well, he should not have been put in the position to do any of those things because the McMichaels and Brian had zero proof that a crime was committed. They had zero proof. All three men have pursued the claim of self defense. I don't see how somebody running away from you is a threat. It's just like the same garbage we hear from these cops that shoot a black man multiple times in the back. It's the same garbage argument. And argued that they were attempting a citizen's arrest on Arbery because they suspected Arbery, who was jogging, had been committing burglaries in the area. Okay, again, where was their proof? Because I watched some of the trial, I saw them prove nothing. They proved nothing as far as him committing any burglary. I thought he was burglarized, and that's not a good enough reason to gun somebody down. I thought, get the hell out of here. They think any damn thing that come out of their mouth is supposed to be good enough. The men have admitted that they did not tell Arbery they were performing such an arrest. No, because you weren't thinking about that. You figure you trapped a black man and you would get away with doing whatever you want to him. That's what that's why you did not make that announcement, because you weren't concerned about that announcement. And police testimony has backed up that claim. Yeah, of course it does, because the police in this country shoot people in the back and claim they feared for their life. So of course they would back up their claim. Go explicitly argued that nevertheless, Arbery should have been given into the three white men. No, he shouldn't. So any white person that walks up and screams citizen arrest, we supposed to turn ourselves into them? Y'all can go to hell. Y'all can go straight to hell with that. To be charging them with an aggravated assault that he could have avoided by submitting. So if any white person walks up to you on the street and say they are conducting a citizen arrest, you as a black person supposed to just stand there and turn yourself over to them. Yeah, right. So this is their argument, man. This is a shitty ass argument, okay? Arbery is supposed to know the law just as well as everyone else who was out there that day. Go said. This is what Kevin Go, the no more black pastors in the courtroom, that same guy. Now it's amazing, y'all. Larissa Avery that got up and said, just because a person steals, does that mean they deserve to die? She should be admonished in front of a jury for saying that. But him standing there saying no more black pastors in the courtroom, he doesn't get admonished for that. That says a lot right there. So anyway, let's go on into this story. Now, Go said, referring to the Georgia statute that at the time permitted citizens' arrest, he added that Arbery's ignorance of the law is no excuse. No, these men never said they were even doing a citizen's arrest when they were chasing them down. So, what did you want Arbery to do? Read minds? I guess he was responsible for not reading their mind. No, these guys were trying to harm him. All this citizens arrest crap came up after Ahmaud was dead. Okay, then they came up with this citizens arrest because they knew they did something wrong. See, you wouldn't come up with no mess like that unless you knew you did something wrong. All right, so this is what they're saying. If they walk up and say citizens arrest, you're supposed to just, all right, I'm gonna turn myself over to you. Get the hell out of here. And even if Aubrey realized that a citizen's arrest was underway and that it was unfounded, Go argued that Aubrey should have let the men go to jail. Um, Go argued that Aubrey should have let the men go to jail for false imprisonment. So if he would have turned himself over to those three men, which they never said he was being arrested, by the way, the worst thing that would have happened to the McMichaels and Brian was false imprisonment. So, this is all Ahmaud's fault, all his fault. All his fault. Whenever white people demand that you are under citizen's arrest, you black people, you better just turn yourself into them. If y'all don't get out of here, if y'all don't get your asses the hell up on out of here. The victim of a crime is a victim of a crime. And to allege that the victim contributed to his own victimization by not avoiding criminal enough. That is not the law, Your Honor. So this is what the prosecution was saying. Dunikoski told the judge Timothy Walmsley. Go also argued for a mistrial Friday on the grounds that there were multiple black voters, shirt people, worn outside of the courtroom. Man, he went to law school for this. Oh, man. Okay, so because black people wore black voter t-shirts, that should lead to a mistrial. Does this make any sense to anybody? Anybody with common sense. I'm not talking about someone with high IQ and, I'm talking about people with real intelligence, not high IQ intelligence, real intelligence. Does this make any sense? Black people wearing voter t-shirts outside the court along with signs that read Black Pastors Matter, that should lead to a mistrial. Dunikoski pushed back, noting that the t-shirts and signs were a response to Go's comments last week about him not wanting black pastors in the courtroom. Dunikoski argued Go filed a motion for a mistrial based on something that he himself caused, because she said Go knew the trial was being nationally televised and he strategically created further conflict in the case. Golden claimed that the trial was being influenced by mob mentality and stories pushed by the media. At one point, Go stated that the case has been infected by things that were not relevant to the guilt or innocent of the defendants, and said third parties are influencing the case. No, you probably feel like you're not winning the case. That's what's going on. Go said that this was a public lynching. You know what? Let's stop right there. Let's stop right there, y'all. How come every time black people complain about racism and how we're treated and the oppression in America, we always get pushback saying that, you know, we're over exaggerating and yeah, blah, 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 right? But if you notice, every time something happens to one of them, do you notice how they will reference slavery and lynchings and things that really don't impact them at all? But they'll remember wearing a mask was like slavery. Well, if these things weren't that bad, why do y'all keep referencing things when it affects your life? Why do you keep referencing things that Black people have been through? But according to you, we need to stop whining, right? Then why are you referencing things that has happened to black people? So in this case, Go is now saying that, he feels like what's happening to his clients is like a public lynching. Again, if these things, as you allege, were not that bad, then why do you keep referencing these things when it happens to you? Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. But yeah, I'm just saying it's amazing how when we give you pushback, these things ain't that bad. But when something is going down with you, then you want to reference things that have exclusively happened to black people in this country. It's just like whenever something you feel is unfair to you, what do? Go out in the streets and sing, "We shall overcome." What the hell have these people had to overcome? They want to be victims so bad. It's just not working out for you. All right, so Go said this looks like a public lynching, looks like it's in the 21st century, describing the trial and the defendants who were criminally charged. What these men are going through don't resemble no lynching. So you can't even use it metaphorically. If any lynching was done, it was done to Ahmaud Arbery, not the 3 defendants. The hell out of here. The perception is the reality. And the media has fed the perception and created that reality, whether it was true or not, Go says. This is what a mob mentality looked like in the 21st century. And we are asking for a mistrial. Walmsley denied the mistrial, and it should be denied because his arguments are dumb as hell. Closing arguments for the case will begin Monday. So, ladies and gentlemen, more than likely it may be a verdict this coming week, but you know what? You never know. It could be next week because of, the federal holidays that are coming up this week, Thursday and Friday. But please tell me what you think. This is a load of BS from the defense. These people are something else, if nothing else. And one thing about them, y'all, they never change. They say the same words decade after decade, century after century. They never have anything new to say at all. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.